Hello and welcome to the This Calls for Confetti YouTube channel. I am Karen and today we're going to make 3 quick cute Christmas cards using the ephemera and the Layer It die set. We're also going to be using Christmas Post and Christmas Post 2 papers for this project. Here's a tip. If you're going to make several cards, go ahead and die cut everything in one set. It kind of is batching out the process and you will get through your cards much quicker. That is what I did for today's cards. We're going to start out with the Merry Christmas and the Happy Holidays dies. And we have die cut those in black and we're putting them on white. These are super easy to line up, very quick to go together, and doing multiples of these at one time was super easy. I am using the little pincher tweezers because my fingers get in the way and I didn't want glue all over me. So there is another tip for you, using some kind of tweezer to help you hold your letters in place. Now, let's start on our first card. We are going to use the postage stamp looking die out of the Layer It die set for each one of our 3 cards. This is going to be our main focal background element that repeats through through all 3 cards. I did use a lot of scraps in this card, which I think is a great way to make sure that you are maximizing your supplies. We are going to start on this card by having a red layer, then the blushy pink layer, and that green layer that we just trimmed down. I also am going to repeat the process of scraping out the edges. This is one of those things that I do frequently to help create dimension between the layers. I really like it because it doesn't add weight or dimension to the card, which would cause it to have to be hand canceled and cost more at the post office. So grabbing one of these edgers is a super easy, great tool. You can also use the edges of your scissors. We're going to start by putting this red layer down. It does match the exact size of an A2 card. Therefore, I am going to make sure that I am getting it absolutely in the corners. Here I pick it up so that I can really get it good and lined up and use my fingers as that barrier so that it does not overhang in an area. Next, we're going to go in and add our blush pink on top. And once that is stuck down, then we are going to come in and add our green. I decided to put the green in here to help break up the reds and the pinks. And you'll see that as we layer these different pieces on. So this is going to be kind of one of those cards that when it's finished, it looks like you used lots of different papers on it when really you're using up your scraps. So here I have added that blush to the back of the Christmas words that came out of the Christmas postage 6x6 paper. Again, this was a scrap that I had, but it worked beautifully for this card. We are going to trim off that overhang. Don't worry, it won't be there in the finished product. But here we're going to pop on this very graphic and very bold looking Merry Christmas. And it makes for a super fun and easy card. One of the benefits of using the ephemera in our card making is that it is super quick. You can pull out a couple of images, add a sentiment, either a stamp or a die cut, and very quickly you have a fun card that's ready to go. So a great tip is to keep those ephemera packs on hand so that you have access to making quick cards, because I don't know about you, but I tend to forget that I need something. All right, here is card number 2. Again, we are using that postage stamp out of the Layer It die set as our element that ties these 3 cards together. Again, I have chosen a base layer that matches my A2 card size, so making sure that those corners are lined up is paramount to getting this card to look fantastic. So once we put that down, we're going to stick down our paper. Next, we're going to make a flag. Here is a tip for you. If you are struggling and turning your paper strips into flags, cut that little piece right up the middle. It gives you something to line up. So I'll cut up the middle and then I take my scissors and I line them up from the corner to the top of my little cut line. Super easy, saves time, and then I end up with cute banners that I like the look of. So here we have stuck down the reindeer paper. We're going to trim off the excess. And next we're going to add this little vintage red post box. I love this specific die cut. Like, there could literally be 500 of them in this package and I would be a happy, happy camper. I love that it says letters to Santa on it, and so it really brings home the holidays feel for me. We're going to add a black punched square behind this to kind of lift those elements and ground them as well so that they aren't just floating. I did try and audition the stack of letters there in front of the post box, but it was covering up that super cute letters to Santa, so I did end up tucking it behind and putting down the mailbox in front. So here is what that looks like so far, and now we're going to add Happy Holidays. Again, this die set makes putting sentiments onto your cards super easy with the forefront letters and then that background that gives you a layer is fantastic. Super easy, very, very fun to put together. Can be done in lots of different color combinations. And here is that finished card. All right, our last card. This one, we are using that adorable Rudolph paper where you have the Rudolph nose and the antlers, and it's the one that I die cut with the postage frame out of the layer it die set. Then I die cut some circles out of what was left of the paper that was used in the last card. So I ended up with 2 circles. I cut one in half. This is a great tip, especially if you're going to have something hanging off of your card, is to go ahead and start with that in mind, thinking, all right, I don't need to punch 3 of these because 2 of them will be angled off my card. So if I cut just 2, I can cut one in half and then I have what I need. I will say that as I'm laying these out and auditioning where they go, I decide that it's not enough and we are going to punch a couple of more circles. I am doing those in the red color that matches the background. Here you can see where I have just punched them so that they are full circles. We're going to kind of audition where they go, see where these different circles should be. We're going to cut that extra one in half, or the one that was left in half, and that is going to be how I get to 3 circles out of this. And then it's just coming in and deciding where they should go, just adding that dimension and that pop out of paper. So we just are playing around. Where does this go? Where does that go? And there's really nothing wrong with that. I had an idea of where we were going with this card, and then I decided that we needed some more color, and that's where those little red circles came in. Getting them all stuck down where they should go. The next step is going to be to add in our sleigh. That vintage sleigh is so adorable, full of packages and ready to go for the holidays. So here we are almost finished putting our circles in. We are going to trim off the overhang so that that is off before we move on to our next step of putting down the sleigh. We're going to use the Let It Snow as our greeting or sentiment for this card, and it will go up in the top circle and then down where we had clustered the circles at the bottom. That is where the sleigh will go. So we're going to get those glued down now. I'm using liquid adhesive because we are going over several different layers. This is something that I like to do to make sure that my ephemera pieces do not come off, since it's going over the edges and it will have several different layers. All right, here is a fun step. Grab a black pen and edge all of these circles. Gives it just a little bit of detail, draws the eye. Fun little element, and there is our card. I want to thank you so much for being with me today as we have made these 3 cards. Here's a look at all 3 of them. Make sure that you check out the channel for lots of other Christmas inspiration. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.